Welcome to Common Thread Church. It is Club Day today, so I'm going to invite you to come on in and take a seat. I guess actually it's Working the Circle Day more correctly, formerly known as Club Day. So since it's Working the Circle, may the circle be unbroken.
Good morning. Come on in. Take a seat. Pull up a chair. About ready to start. All right. So, welcome to Common Thread Church and welcome to a special Sunday. It is Working the Circle Day. So for those of you who do not know what that is, it is the day when we talk to you about all of the various ways you can work the circle by attending events and by joining groups, by volunteering, by becoming active in a number of ways. So, welcome to our special day. And a special welcome to all newcomers, whether you're here for the first time or you've been coming for a few weeks or a few months. If you are here with us, you belong with us. And because we are a church that seeks to find support and companionship around questions instead of answers in the spiritual life, you, our visitors, our newcomers, our seekers, are our life's blood. You keep us practiced in the art of welcoming the stranger. And if you'd like to receive our welcome email, please use the link or the QR code, and it will give you everything you need to make your way into our community. We are also a community that believes the spiritual journey requires mutual support and companionship. So if you could use some of that these days, please do reach out. Again, you can use the QR code or the link, or you can walk down the hallway at the end of the service to the library, out that doorway, where you will find someone who is trained in the self-awareness worksheet and is happy to introduce you to that worksheet, go through the worksheet with you, or simply sit alongside you as you find some peace and quiet, or talk through, or simply be together in a nice space across the hall. Of course, we have our meditation room. So please do that. And today that person is, there we go, Diane. Will you raise your hand one more time, Diane, just for everybody? So Diane will be down at the library. Thank you, Diane. So, again, welcome. We're so glad to be together. And let us affirm, as we do each week, the nature of our commitment to one another. If you are here, you belong. We are, every one of us, carriers of the inner light. We are, every one of us, carriers of divine breath. And I am going to invite you to rise, to greet one another, to pass the peace. But I would also like to ask you to watch out for Jane and Selah. Hi, Selah. Hi, Jane, who will be distributing the flyers after Jane gets a snack. When Jane gets back and you're passing the peace and greeting one another, she and Selah will bring you a flyer that will give you information about the groups and events that you will be learning about today during Working the Circle Day. Please rise and greet one another.
Good morning, friends. I invite you all to have a seat. Good morning, everyone. I invite you to have a seat. There will be plenty of time for catching up after we do our Working the Circle Day, I promise you. All right, good morning, friends. All right. Thank you, Jim. Good morning to you. All right, friends. So glad you're all here this morning. So glad there's so much energy. And in a few moments, we're going to do a thing here that we do every September. And it's a day we used to call Club Day, and this year we're calling it Working the Circle Day. But whatever we call it, it's an important day in the life of our community because this is the day we highlight all the different avenues we offer for growth in the spiritual life, and we consider which ones we might be interested in pursuing this fall. But before we get to all of that, this is a time of discernment, which means listening to the still small voice to guide us, which means we need to quiet our minds for just a few minutes, ground our bodies, and open our hearts. Open our hearts to that still small voice, to the connections we have with each other, and to the needs of the moment for each of us and for all of us. Because we aren't usually conscious of this, but every personal act we choose to undertake for our own individual spiritual growth has an impact that goes far beyond our own small lives, like the concentric circles that ripple out from a pebble tossed in a pond. And much like we don't know where the wind blows, we don't know the impact that our work in the spiritual life has on the world. But today, we get to choose what path we take in this moment, knowing that whichever path it is less what we do and more how we are when we do it that matters. The ripples will go where they will, fueled by all the intention and love we bring to whatever it is we decide to do. And so, to aid in helping us each discern which path is ours this fall, I'd like to invite you all to get comfortable. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and relax. Stack your spine in your seat. Take some deep breaths. See if you can slow down the pace of your breathing. And the first thing I'd like you to do is bring awareness to your hands and notice their posture. Are they in a fist? Are they clenched or grasping? Or are they relaxed and open? If they're not relaxed and open, just see if you can release any tension in your hands, maybe even turning your palms upward in a posture of openness to possibilities today. Now bring awareness to your feet. Feel them on the floor, grounding you, connecting you to the earth and everyone and everything on it. Breathe deeply and be present to what is in this moment. And if you like, I invite you to place your open hand over your heart and feel its rhythm. Breathe deeply and imagine drawing in peace with each deep breath and exhaling tension with each full exhale, a long, full exhale, allowing your heart to rest on your diaphragm. See if you can draw your mind down into your heart and visualize that warm, radiant light glowing in your chest, expanding and contracting with each heartbeat. See this light extending beyond your body in a circle around your body, forming an expansive field of loving connection, connecting with the expanding and contracting circles of light emanating from the hearts of those around you. See if you can sink into this sense of interconnectedness, knowing your heart's energy is an integral part of an infinite network of belonging and connection, where every action has a ripple effect beyond what we can see right in front of us. Now I invite you to take a moment and reflect on the path that will best serve your spiritual growth this fall. How might you work the circle? Will you make more time to be in community with others? Will you choose to learn something new about yourself? Will you spend more time in the silence of your heart? Will you draw from the love you find there to serve those in need? Might you find the ways in which those circles intersect? As you breathe, visualize sending waves of love through your heart to everyone connected to you, which is to say, everyone. As we choose our individual paths this fall, let's sink deeper and deeper into the knowledge that our choices and actions are intertwined with all that is, that we are but part of the whole and an indispensable part of this whole, creating a world filled with connection, understanding, and love through all the circles that flow out from us. Gradually bring your focus back to your heart. Take a few more deep breaths. Open your eyes when you are ready as you gently return to the present moment. Welcome back from your time in contemplative practice as we begin working the Circle Day. So happy you all are here, and we think you're going to be just as happy when you see the depth and breadth and depth of the offerings we have this fall. And you can see them in this beautiful handout that Jen has put together for us. And in order to begin exploring these options, what you're going to want to do is hold your phones up right now and go to where this QR code will take you. So I'm going to give everybody a minute to do that. And what you'll see when you get there is a list of all the things we're going to talk about this morning, and more things than that even. And if you're interested in any or all of them, you just click the box next to it and ask for someone to reach out to you with an invitation to learn more or to jump right in. It really couldn't be easier. Just want you to know there's no pressure today. There are no commitments today. This is just a time for seeing what's up and expressing your interest, and someone will reach back out to you. And Kate wanted to be sure that you have no worries if you accidentally click submit too soon because you're super excited about something. You're like, oh man, there was something else I wanted to click. It's okay. You can click as many times as you want. You're not going to be spamming us. That's what Kate told me. If the QR code doesn't work, Jen, how might we get there? It's on the front page of the app. Okay, so there is, if you can't get there, you'll see the Club Day, I guess Working the Circle Day link will be on the front of the app.
If the QR code doesn't work and we have yet to download the app, how might we get there?
Can we get there through the website as well? We cannot get there through the website.
So then we're screwed.
You're out of luck. If what you'll do, you'll find through Working the Circle Day, if you haven't downloaded the app yet, Kate's going to speak to that actually when we get to the end of our list of speakers. So don't worry about that. If you are struggling with the app, there's people you can talk to today. So if anything feels like we're going too fast or you're missing something, we got plenty of time. Doug's going to speak more when we get through all of this to all of that. Yes, sir.
How about if the QR code doesn't work and we don't have the app yet, we just take that really nice flyer and circle the thing you're interested in.
You could do that.
To Doug at the end.
Okay, give it to Doug? Okay, all right, that's what we'll do. Did you hear that? If you don't have an app, if you can't get to the app, circle what you're interested in on the flyer, give it to Doug at the end. He's going to take care of that.
Put your name on it before you give it.
But put your name on it, otherwise he's not going to know who you are. He's not going to know what to do with it, okay? All right, very good. All right, so you're also going to see that this year we've got some visual icons that are going to be really helpful. So you can see which activities are kid-friendly, which ones have childcare. And you'll see that the colors here represent the different quadrants in the circle. So we'll have an icon next to any event or activity that is communal, contemplative, learning, or serving. Sometimes it crosses the quadrants, so it might be more than one. But if you're kind of thinking about, I feel like maybe learning is where I need to lean this fall, you're going to want to look for things with the blue icon. Okay, that might be a thing that you want to pay attention to. So hopefully that will be helpful. Let's see. This will help you make your decisions about what you want to do, what you're able to do by having all of that information there. So, going too fast. We're not supposed to be there just yet. Kate, did I miss anything that you asked me to say?
We'll explain about the name tags later or now.
I thought we would explain them later, but we can explain about them now. If you see someone with a green name tag on, this means this is someone who has done something that we're going to talk about here during Working the Circle Day and could share their experience with you. So if you're new to all of this and you're like, oh, here's somebody wearing Enneagram on a green sticker, you might want to go up to that person and say, just want to know what your experience of the Enneagram has been here. I'll be happy to share it with you. So nobody's put this sticker on, I don't think, who isn't willing to share. If you're not willing to share and you put that sticker on, just take it off real quick before we get to brunch. But I don't think that that's the case with these folks. Okay.
And the yellow will be for whatever they want to learn more about.
Yeah, so if you are new and you've not done these things, there's yellow name tags. You can slap those on, and then we kind of know to look for you. It's like you're new and you want to know some things, and we'll reach out to you. Okay? All right. Anything else before we get started? All right, we've got 15 speakers and a lot to get through up here. So you're going to get your box, get your phones ready, start clicking some boxes, get your flyers ready, start getting ready to circle some things, and here we go. Angela, I'm going to ask you to come on up here with me as we get started. So our first slide. You remember last week, if you were here or you were paying attention, I encouraged you not to make contemplative practices one more thing that you do, but the one thing you do to bring more depth and meaning to everything else that you do. And of course, only you can decide what practices work for you, but we want to support you as much as possible, and we want to create opportunities for us to engage in these practices together. Because again, as we discussed last week, when we do this kind of work together, we amplify its impact. The surrender and openness that we find within ourselves wind up connecting and expanding beyond us. And so, every weekday morning, you can join the live Zoom meditations that have been so grounding for folks in our community. This fall, we're going to have Tuesday evening contemplative practices online through October, and I'll be posting more info in the app about that this week. And a few nights in the fall, we're going to meet here in this room starting this Tuesday. Come join us at 7 p.m. in the chapel for some beautiful chant and quiet contemplative practices. And with all the angst leading up to the election this year, we are hoping that this rhythm can help us be steady together. And you'll see in the next slide, but I'll mention now that these evening gatherings will culminate on election night. This chapel will become a beautiful, calm, peaceful place to come and be grounded and be together while the world spins madly on out there. And we've invited our friends at Ridge Road to join us, and we'll invite the other churches as well. And we encourage you to get the word out to folks you know beyond our CTC community as well. And I know that contemplative practices are tricky for a lot of us, so I'm pleased to turn this over now to Angela, who is going to tell you about a meditation support drop-in she is leading monthly after church this fall. Okay, stand right here if you will. All right.
So I'm really excited to start this meditation support group. There's so many opportunities to do meditation in this church, but this one is a little different because it's designed for support and learning for people who are interested in either starting, deepening, or continuing a personal practice that's daily and emphasizing the silent meditation practices like mindfulness and centering prayer. Of course, anyone's welcome, any type of meditation practice that you might be interested in, but we're really trying to give a space for people to sort of develop and continue a deeper dive into meditation practice. I've been doing meditation myself for about 19 years now, and I also teach people that have never done it or barely heard of it before in my counseling practice, which is usually, one direction and less focused in a spiritual manner. So I'm really excited to be able to do this in this community where I can kind of open up a little more. I want to really invite anybody that already has a practice. It can be very isolating to have a long-term meditation practice without support, without other people that are going through the same journey. It kind of changes you in specific ways, and it's really great to get together and also have some other people in addition to myself to maybe support those that are newer to it. I've heard so many times since I've been in this church, people say, well, I can't meditate, kind of sounding like they wish they could, but they just think they can't. And I just want to tell you, if you want to do it, if this is something that you're feeling like is the time for you or you're wanting to do it, you absolutely can. It's like learning an instrument or a language or a sport, something new. Anybody can do it. Some people are going to do it a little easier, a little faster than others, of course, but anyone can do it. But you're going to be, stopped and frustrated pretty quickly if you don't have any sort of coaching or teaching and you're just trying to do it completely on your own. Just start learning the guitar or the flute or something and just, figure it out, and you have no teacher. How long is that going to last? And that's what happens. That's why people feel like they can't meditate. So if you come to the group while we're there, and in between times through phone calls and meetups, we can provide support and answer questions when you run into a barrier. What do I do? And people can get to the place where they're just having a regular, consistent, deep meditation practice. So I hope people will want to join us for that.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Cherie Vodica, and Angela and I co-lead our church's Braver Angels work. And Common Thread Church is a part of the Braver Angels Braver Network. Cherie, what is Braver Angels? It's the nation's largest cross-partisan, volunteer-led movement to bridge the partisan divide for the good of our democratic republic. What is Braver Network? It is a group of organizations like ours, churches and other nonprofits, who are getting together and helping to bridge the partisan divide and grow and spread civic renewal. So our vision of civic renewal is where all people are treated with dignity and no one is silenced. We strive for better conflict, an accurate understanding of differences, and common ground. So here are some of the things we can do together to participate in Braver Angels. Angela and I are leading a couple of workshops this fall in advance of the election. So on Saturday, September 21st, we are doing a workshop on disagreeing better. We'd love to have you come. We're going to practice specific skills for, yes, how to disagree and do so with civility. And then on October 19th, in advance of the election, we're going to talk about families and politics, which is really important leading into the holiday season, where you're probably going to be sitting across the table from someone who does not think like you. So in addition to these workshops, we're also we have the opportunity to send other members of our organization and our community to participate in Braver Angels workshops and so you can become more effective citizens and colleagues. And also you could attend trainings to learn how to facilitate these very same workshops. And we also have the opportunity as an organization that is participating in the Braver Network to take our unique strengths out into the community and bring these workshops to other organizations and bring people together to help build civic renewal. We also can send some of our delegates to the National Convention, the Braver Angels National Convention, where we can connect with other leaders who are doing similar work. So I hope you will join me and Angela in helping to bring these opportunities to our community and help to bridge the civic divide and engage in civic renewal.
All right, we were asked to do 3 things: hold the mic in front of our face, 90 seconds, and answer the question, the why. Okay, so I'm going to do all 3. All right, the why. Why do I value the Enneagram enough to want to share it? Here is how I and others have experienced the Enneagram. It offers a specific map for growth for each type. It brings to the light each type's blind spots. It brings to the light each type's basic fear. It shows how each type is likely to stiff-arm God's love. It brings to the light how very, very, very different we are. It helps us to know what we can change in ourselves and others and what is likely not to change. It gives us an understanding of what other people's suffering looks like and feels like. It helps us set realistic expectations of what we can expect from ourselves and from others. It brings awareness to when we are projecting our own wiring onto others. It gives us tools to help navigate marriages and the raising of our children. For me, the Enneagram is like turning on the floodlights in an arena where we are compelled to fight a nighttime battle. It doesn't guarantee anything. It just clarifies what shape the battle is likely to take. What we do with that clarity is ours to choose. So we share the Enneagram through small groups that meet from October to May, 2 yearly seminars, and through one-on-one counseling, and through a monthly drop-in Enneagram group. We hope to see you in one of those venues. Thank you.
So I'm here to talk about self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to understand your own thoughts, feelings, and actions, and how they affect yourself and others. And so I get curious with self-awareness because sometimes I'm driving and I miss a turn and I experience blind rage, and I wonder why. And sometimes someone yells at me and I disassociate completely from my body and shut down, and I wonder why. Or sometimes I make a simple mistake and I feel deep despair and shame, and I wonder why. So there are many ways to tackle self-awareness. At Common Thread, we use a tool called the worksheet. And it is literally a piece of paper with a list of questions. And what we do with the questions are, we let them guide us through the process of perceiving the intelligence that we receive from our mind, our heart, and our body. And we use that curiosity and that intelligence to figure out what coping mechanisms we're using to survive in the world, and maybe also blocking our access to our highest self. So why do I desire self-awareness? I desire self-awareness because of pain. Thank you for that prompt. Pain that I feel when I'm afraid. Afraid that I'm not safe, afraid that I'm not worthy of love, afraid that I'm not free. Pain that I inflict on others when I lash out because of those fears. So I want to understand my fear so I can let go of it and be free. That's the why. I have definitely seen huge benefits to my life. I invite you to get involved. Ways to get involved are you can just observe. So today after church at 11:45, Morgan and I will do this practice together in the room down the hall. And you can just sit back and watch and see how it unfolds. Another thing you can do is if you want to have an episode that triggers you and go through the questions and share it with a listener, that is where the beauty of this community really comes in and shines. So you can go on the website and make an appointment with a listener, a one-on-one appointment, and we'll do this with you. And then every year in November, we have a retreat at Well of Mercy where we dive deep into contemplative practices and silence to deepen this practice with each other. So be on the lookout for that next November. And that is all I have.
So we have got a lot of stuff going on because we have a lot of capacity in our community, a lot of folks who could do a lot of things. You cannot do even half of the things, so you're going to have to make discerned selections. But back in the day, we did not have as many things, and when we didn't have very many things at all, one of the things that we did was life story groups. And we found them transformative. Transformative in our own lives, but also transformative for our whole community. They are as simple as they sound. 3 or 4 people get together 3 or 4 times, and we tell the story of our lives. When it's our turn to tell, what we do is we talk about the experiences we've had that have shaped us. We talk about victories we've enjoyed, setbacks that we have endured. We talk about our people. We talk about our places. And what we have discovered is that life story groups do impact the group itself, but they also affect the whole community. When a critical mass of us spend an hour telling and hearing our stories, we walk away with trust and we walk away with affection. And it turns out that those are the foundation of everything we value at Common Thread, because those are the foundation of authentic relationships. And it all starts, all the things that we do start with authentic relationships, and life story groups have for years helped us get there. Now, I know from experience, the hardest part about life story groups is finding 3 or 4 times when 3 or 4 people can meet in the same space at the same time. So I know up front it's going to be a challenge, but I want to encourage you to give it a try. I encourage you to prioritize it. Maybe you can do it on campus, maybe after church or during the week sometime. Maybe you can host it in your home. But if you have to say no to something else so that you can say yes to life story groups, my encouragement is maybe consider that. Okay, next slide. Yep, newcomers. So in October, let's see, what is it? The 13th, I'm going to do a newcomer orientation. It's called a newcomer orientation, but really it's for anybody who would like to understand Common Thread better. I'll tell some history of how we became the way that we are, some context for why we did it, priorities and principles that have emerged through the years, and then what has happened to us as we have followed those priorities and principles. When I started Common Thread 30 years ago, I had a sense that there was something wrong with American Christianity, but I did not have a sense of what it was. So I couldn't go to work directly on the problem. So that's why you have probably heard me say, in my own definition of our community, we looked like a church, but we were not a church. We were really a laboratory, and the experiments that we were doing was trying to figure out what healthy religion might look like. Well, in this class, I will highlight the things that we have learned through the years and how we're different because we learned them. So I'll tell you where I think we are in the process and maybe even what we've still yet to learn. So it'll be an hour after church. We'll probably use the conference room unless too many people come, and then we'll just move down to the fellowship hall. I do this part once a year in October. Then throughout the year, I'll do a few. Come hang out and let's have snacks and get to know each other with newcomers at other times during the year. But in the fall, that's the time I do the orientation. So this fall, I hope you'll come and participate in the orientation class.
Okay. Hi, I'm Carol, and I help out with the coffee and hospitality and social events here at Common Thread. And I guess the why is this is, I think, the springboard for getting to know each other in a relaxed setting when we have events. And it's a good way to just kind of meet the person that you sit beside on Sunday mornings. And we do several social events during the year. We have our Mardi Gras party in February. We do several potlucks and a picnic. And we also have our coffee and a snack service on Sundays. And so we have a lot of opportunities and a lot of needs for people to jump in and help with events and coffee. I've been doing this for a while here, and I absolutely love it. It's probably my favorite thing that I do here at Common Thread. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, there's really kind of a low commitment. It's just helping out when we have potlucks. It's nice to have a few people on hand to help set up and clean up and just kind of go around and talk with people. So it's really kind of a fun gig. So if you're interested, please come and see me. I would love to talk to you about it. And if you're interested, we're always looking for help on Sunday mornings, coming in and preparing the coffee and putting out a few snacks to welcome people on Sundays. So if any of that sounds fun to you, please come and see me after, and I'm glad to talk to you about it. Thanks.
Hello again. I am looking for people who want to be with teenagers in a few different capacities, as you see behind me. I'm looking for people who want to just come and get to know them. Let them ask you a bunch of questions. I'm looking for people who want to come with us on events and be chaperones. Sometimes you might get to go 40 feet up in the air into a tree. You might get to go bowling. You might get to go play board games at my house. Is that working? I'm also looking for people who could serve in a capacity we're calling den parents after sort of the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and that would be for those once or twice a year when I actually have something to do on a Sunday morning besides be here, someone who would be willing to go downstairs and hang out with them. I mean, look at them. They're very, very docile. So that's sort of a snapshot of that. So basically, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is if what you've got time in your life for is to come down on a regular basis, I can make that happen. If what you've got time for is to come down once or twice a semester, I've got room and I need that. So we can work with your commitment level, your schedule. All we need from you is an interest in hanging out with teenagers. So we hope to see you downstairs. Talk to me if you're interested in that. Thanks.
All right. I'll talk about the little bit younger ones. So I primarily work with the babes all the way through 5th grade. I like to pop in with the teens when I can. Oh, sorry, right in the mouth. There we go. Hello. So working with the younger kids, the why first of why I work with the kids is genuinely I cannot think of anything more important that you could do with your time, personally. You will receive good things from them. It's not the other way around like many people try to make it. Like we're not there to yes, if you have some wisdom to instill, fantastic, but you will find wisdom in them. What we teach them, so every day, I have an example of a teacher class schedule here. So we'll just do some stations to welcome them in most of the time, very casual. But then once we jump into it and we clean up, we kind of circle up. What are we talking about each month? We have a virtue every month, and we're building out a 3-year curriculum. So that way we have an idea of what values and virtues are most important to our church. That way we can repeat them and learn from them and grow from them. So we do, what is our virtue for the month? What did we learn before, and what are we going to do today to give them an expectation at the beginning of class? We do some sort of mindful moment that may be like a little meditation if we have the energy appropriate for that level, or it may be dancing around to a crazy video on the internet, which is what we did today. So that is our mindful moment. We do some yoga and things. We always do a short lesson. Usually that looks like reading a story. Today we are reading My Mouth is a Volcano. We are learning about self-control and impulse control today. So we're reading that. We like to do a snack during that time. Also, we try to do a creative activity and a movement activity every week. So we got active. We're going to do some science experiments. I need to talk faster. I know my time's up. And we practice small religious basics. So praying, like what does that even mean? The very, very basics. Other things we help with throughout the year are rituals. We have 4. We welcome new babies. We celebrate graduates. We welcome 6th graders into the teen group, which we just did that one. And then we celebrate our kindergartners. And then, yeah, just throughout the year, we try to do some fun stuff for all ages if we can. So you might see us at like the annual picnic, doing some arts and crafts or face painting or throwing water balloons at people one time. I don't know. So we'll do some fun stuff like that to get your inner child welcome here also. Of other stuff that I don't have time for.
Hi there. I want to talk about service. I'm Preston, and before we do, I just want to make sure we all step out of here first. And we're not at church anymore. We're going to do some service. So we're going to go volunteer. So come with me to volunteer. Come with me to volunteer, and so you do sometimes get a silly shirt when you go to volunteer. So I was like, yes, okay, like really, I want that. But then really, everybody wants the name badge when you go volunteer. So got my name badge, ready to go volunteer. So in all seriousness, when I talked to some people in the community that actually volunteered, some of the things that they said that the reasons they do this, and I have to put my glasses on, although you may have to wear a silly shirt and a dorky name badge, you may actually come away feeling like they provide you a strong sense of purpose and fulfillment. It offers a meaningful way to contribute to the community and support others. Also, someone said, overall, it brings a profound sense of satisfaction, connection to me in a large network of people who share similar values. Someone else said, while initially I feel outside my comfort zone, I always come away feeling more hopeful about the world and often form connections with others I've never had before. So there are several events that are coming up with CTC that we can do to actually support others that are listed up here. The food drive's coming up through Urban Ministries. I don't know if anybody's heard of Urban Ministries, but they're a great organization that supports our community here in Wake County. We'll have 2 weekends for you to be able to volunteer. The first one is so key because the more people that we have to actually support us, the more food we can get for Urban Ministries. But if you can't do that, you can bring food here to church. We'll have a couple weekends where you can do that. But I would please encourage you to come the first weekend, which is the 19th, a Saturday, and your contributions in time, instead of getting a bag of groceries that are 7 or 10 pounds, your contributions potentially can get 1,000 pounds of food. So that's a big difference, which you can come out and invest an hour and a half to be able to do for people here in Wake County. And then you can see some other events here. We have Welcome House coming up. That's a great event. That's a campus-wide event for the Ridge. And that was really popular last year, so I hope that you guys can make it out and support Thanksgiving meal for refugees that are coming here in the country, that we can give a sense of what our traditions are for Thanksgiving. And then we'll do a Christmas event, so we'll just stay tuned for more of that information. So, we can step outside of the volunteer realm, and, now you get to pull your name badge off, and we'll go out to Outdoorsy now. And so, we've got, a few props here. So with Outdoorsy, we do all kinds of things. And so, we can bring your shoes to hike. That's coming up here soon. Yesterday, we did a kayaking trip. That was really awesome, a beautiful day on the Neuse River. But it's just an opportunity to come out and really be able to connect with others here with Common Thread to build better relationships and a sense of community. So I hope you can join us. Stay tuned for the events coming up on our website. Thank you.
That's a hard act to follow. I'm just bringing myself, which is what you also need to bring to One Wake. This is another part of the service quadrant, and I think sometimes we can get overwhelmed with issues in the world, and they seem very overwhelming, and that we can't really do anything about it. And One Wake is a way that we can do the here, now, small, doable that Doug talks about to enact real change in our community. So every year or two, One Wake gets together. It's a group of congregations and other communities who all rally around shared issues. So this year, we're talking about homelessness and affordable housing. We're talking about getting people access to public transportation, and we're talking about the mental health crisis that is affecting all ages, but especially our teens and young adults. And what we do is we meet quarterly to organize and do events that our public officials can see that there are hundreds or thousands of people in the area that care about this. And so our next event is going to be a nonpartisan Canada Assembly on October 10th. And usually there's a virtual option, so I understand people's time is of an essence, and there's a lot of competing interests, but they usually have virtual and they usually have in-person. And this is just a way that we can move the needle towards meeting some of those big needs for people in our county and make a real impact. What are a couple of those things? So one of the big things is looking at programs that will support affordable housing in Wake County. So right now the focus is on Cary. There's a trailer park that's primarily the residents for the Latino community, and the owner is selling that property. So it's helping those people either get compensation because they need to either move their trailer or find a new place. It's about building affordable housing across the county. Things like helping create programs to lower property tax for seniors in South Raleigh who are on a fixed income. So it's things that have a really big impact. For the transportation, it's in Eastern Wake County, there's not a lot of transportation infrastructure, so someone can be living in Zebulon and not have a way to get downtown to get a good paying job, and this is a way to help meet that need. And then with the mental health, we're partnering with the Poe Center to do mental health trainings where people can learn how to identify and help mitigate like a kid or a young adult who might be going through a mental health crisis, and give people like tools to help impact that. So yeah. Yes, Doug.
Once or twice a year, in person is important because politicians count heads, and this one on the 10th is one of those in-person matters.
So hopefully you can make it out, and just feel free to email me or catch me after church if you have any more questions.
Good morning, I'm Morgan. I help with the spiritual care and well-being. This is really kind of the glue of our community. What we do is we get together and support each other in hard times, whether that means bringing someone a meal or just being an ear. There's so much love in this community. And it really, really has been so helpful when we're going through difficult times just to be able to talk to someone or know that someone is there to bring you dinner. So if you are one of the people that would like to pick up a meal and bring it or make it yourself, or if you're one of those people that would love to just support someone in their time of need, be a listening ear, then we would love for you to sign up to join us in caring for our community. Thanks.
Hey, y'all. I really love this community, and really gotten me through a difficult time in my life, my early 30s. And at the end of it all, I have a good relationship with my kids, and I'm still married. It's so great. I kind of came limping into this community pretty disenfranchised, feeling pretty negative about the world and the state of things. And after serving in evangelical churches all growing up, that was the last thing that I was interested in doing. So the first 4 years that I came, I didn't do that. I kind of avoided it. If somebody said, can you help with this? I would not put my hand up. I was not interested in doing that. And I had young children. I had the idea that service might tap into this deeply internalized Puritan work ethic that I had. Like, I've got to keep the boss happy, which the boss is like the pastor or something like that. And that hasn't, but like a couple of years ago, Doug had asked me to come help with something at the church, and we were like moving, and I was like, okay, I can help with this. And I show up, and I showed up a little bit late, as I want to do, and Doug was like up on some scaffolding. And I was like, why is Doug the person up on the scaffolding? Like, I just really, it just didn't sit right with me. I was like, this is not right. And so this became a project of trying to understand how to repair our relationship with service as a community. There's a lot being asked of us a lot in the world, and I guess my perspective has really shifted to understand that community is it's not an opportunity to empty oneself just to help others. It's a mutual giving and receiving. It's like with your 2 or 3 or 4-year-old, you might throw a ball back and forth. That's sort of what's happening when we're serving in this community, hopefully, is you're figuring out what your needs are, and then you're matching those needs with other people's needs. So if you're an older person, you might have a need for connection, and you could help a younger person that needs help with childcare or something like that. Or maybe you're noticing all of these things, and you have kids, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't show up to one of those because of the need for childcare. So these are opportunities for us to get more deeply connected with each other. I don't know if I'm doing a good job of explaining this. I did post in the bulletin board this Instagram post that kind of talks about this Washington Post article where they're breaking down what it might look like to start to break down the barriers that are kind of lifted up in our society, where so much of community is around you got to pay for something, right? Like, I got to buy a beer at the place in order to hang out, or I got to get a coffee, or everything costs something. And what I love about this is the opportunity to come together around something we love and get to know each other that way. So let me see, did I forget anything? So as Doug says a lot, it's about here, small, doable. And it really can be small. Serving in this community could look like calling a friend up, or it could look like volunteering. But whatever it is, it's just whatever you can give. So you could volunteer to show up to something, and then when you show up, realize you don't have a lot of energy, and you just have to be more of a witness that time. And that's allowed because we're a church community. We're not a business, right? There's no bottom line or something that we're trying to meet. There's no product that we're the product is within us, right? That's what we're trying to cultivate. And so I'm just trying to encourage you guys to be a little more bold and just try it out and put yourself out there a little more. This is going to require vulnerability on the part of the people asking for things and the people giving. So remember, it's a giving and receiving. Anyway, all right, love you guys. Thanks.
So what you might not see is the infrastructure behind all these things you're hearing about. We take each one of the quadrants and we've broken it down into very specific objectives and how we're going to do that. Within the communal quadrant, there are 4 stages of belonging that we think about. There is public belonging, there is social belonging, personal belonging, and then deep belonging. You've heard some things about deep belonging, you heard some things about social belonging. We work really hard in this public context to work on public belonging. This, groups, is where we think about personal belonging. And normally, human beings go through that process on their way to being a deep and authentic community. So personal belonging is our groups. Life Story Groups serves that purpose of personal belonging, and you will see on the clip or on the checklist as you're going through, artsy club, artsy group, book club, and some idea not yet listed here where you could form a group where what we think of when we think about personal belonging is moving to the place where we know more about one another than just our biographical information. That happens kind of at social belonging. At personal belonging, we start thinking through, tell me about what's going right in your life, tell me about what's not going right in your life, and we feel safe enough to do that. And that usually happens in group contexts. So if you would like to help make a group happen, click that box and either I will or someone will get a hold of you depending on which box you click. Scott.
I'm Scott. I'm here to talk about remote community, and most people, when you say remote community, thinks about, oh, live stream or our YouTube channel. And that's certainly part of it, but it's way more than that. What we're doing, the why for remote community is we're creating accessibility for people who live outside of Raleigh, people who live in Raleigh, maybe in Raleigh part-time like me, to participate in the community activities that we've talked about today. So Enneagram, self-awareness, life story groups, all of those are things that can happen online. Also, it doesn't have to be that you live outside of Raleigh to participate in remote community. As a matter of fact, those who do live outside of Raleigh appreciate it when, say, you're contagious. You feel okay, but you're contagious, so you don't come to church in Raleigh, and you log into What Are You Thinking online. We really like that because that helps people that don't live here feel connected to the whole group. And we're trying to create one whole church, not 2 different churches, a distant one and a local one. So feel free to join in any of the things that we do remotely, even if you live in Raleigh, and even if it's occasionally, love to have you. And if you have friends, how many of you have friends that live outside of Raleigh? You can invite them to participate in the community, the life, the growth that we find here as well through online community. So ask me if you have any questions. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Kish, and working the circle outside of Sunday morning requires us to connect online. So remotely as well as on the app. You can join our community bulletin board to stay up with conversations that are happening outside of Sunday mornings. And I'm also here to help you get into the directory. So get your face and your information in there so that when you make connections on a Sunday morning with somebody, or they've made them with you, you can connect with each other outside of just Sundays. So if you want help getting on the app or navigating the app or getting in the directory or tweaking your information in the directory, come and see me after service today. Thanks.
Okay, I'm setting my timer. We've got 5 minutes on the schedule for questions and answers. So you've heard a whole bunch of stuff today. I know a lot about it, but if I don't know the answer, I will direct you to someone in the room who does know about it. What are you thinking? Now you've got 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Pardon? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, probably a good idea to the microphone. The music mic up. Just keep,
there we go. Doug, what should we do if we know we won't be here on September 29th to join a Life Story or Enneagram group?
Good question. Send me, go ahead. Is there a box there in the form to click? Okay. Jen will answer that question for you. Yeah. There is an enrollment period that is a 1-week enrollment period that starts on that day, the 28th. You'll have a week to do that. All you have to do is get the information in, we'll help you form. Henry.
What is the drop-in Enneagram group?
Robin, you want me to just answer it? You want to answer? Robin is brilliant. And Robin has given herself, following a personality trait that is hers, the time and the energy and the effort and the study to become an expert in the field of Enneagram. Consequently, she's just sitting there with all of this stuff. And what she used to do was organize a thing. But that took a lot of effort, and we realized if you just show up and ask a question, the woman's brilliant, and she will have an answer. So the drop-in group is you just go down the hallway, you sit in a circle, and people start talking about stuff, and she waxes eloquent. That's what a drop-in group is. Yeah, you probably would not have said it that way.
Doug, if you are already involved in some of these things, do you have to check the box again to keep getting informed about these things?
You do not. Keep going. Daughter, what are you thinking? Well, I was thinking the other daughter, but you'll do. What, are you thinking anything? All right. Other daughter, you got anything? No? All right. Jim Luke, you thinking anything? No. All right. Oh, Laura.
How long is the meditation, 6:30 meditation group?
20 minutes. Yeah. Yep. So for those of you who couldn't hear, if you'd like to be part of an Enneagram group, talk to Robin. But also, it's good for you to participate in the seminar so that you have a shared understanding of the Enneagram before you enter into the group.
Tell me more about book groups.
Book groups are as varied by year as the person who says, I want to lead a book group. So we have had a wide variety of books, and usually they go 4 weeks because we can't get people to come longer than that. Oftentimes they'll be 3 weeks. And so what happens is we read a book, we get together and we talk about it. Now, my wife is part of a book group that when they got together, they just loved being together. And after they did one group, they chose another group. And that's kind of our quiet, unspoken hope that that happens. Because remember, the book group is about personal belonging. We're moving to that third stage. So we hope that relationships are built during the book, that the book becomes less important, the content becomes less important, and the relationships become more important. But it starts with a very short period of time, 3 weeks at most. We do a book, we read it together, we talk about it together, we get to know each other. Come on, people, you've got 52 seconds left.
So that book group, it's just one person does a group?
We just really need a point person.
Okay.
So if you, obviously you're not going to do the book thing yourself, but we need someone who will gather the folks, let people know when we're going to meet, find out the location together, get feedback from everybody, choose the book, and then invite people to it, and then at the meetings themselves, kind of know how to run a book club meeting, which is really just go around the circle conversation.
So is it?
Yeah.
So, but how many times a year? Like, is it every month,
Well, we are in flux right now because you might have noticed, I think the Greek word for what we saw today was a shitload. There is a lot of stuff. So we're going to have to do some thinking about what we prioritize and when we prioritize it, but typically we have done it in the past twice a year. We do a book club in the spring, or in the fall, one in the spring. All right, that's it. Time's up, people. I forget where'd Sue go? What happens next?
We dismiss the live stream and dismiss
Oh, dismiss the
folks.
live stream?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Those of you on the live stream, you heard a lot of stuff today. I hope you got access to the link because we'd love you to participate. You heard what Scott said, that we try to do all the things that we do with a online component. A few things that we're working on. On the 13th, we are going to get fiber installed. Dug a trench, put it in. We're going to be able to get our live stream less glitchy. Swear before Jesus and everything holy that's going to happen finally. It's only been 2 years, so it's coming. We're going to get that thing done. The other thing, once we have that, we have a new setup that we can actually have hybrid group meetings where we've got a big screen and we've got a camera and we've got a little sound thing that sits in the middle of the table, so you can participate group-wise as well. So I hope you will click the box. I hope you will go to the QR code, or if you're not part of our app, get into our app and do that, because we would very much like to include you in all the things that we've talked about today. Let us dismiss you. Let's dismiss the folks online. If you would, put your hand on your heart, and let's remember as we go that we are, every one of us, carriers of the indwelling divine. Love and joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, all those things are within us. Sometimes we don't know they're there, but they are there. And so let us, this week, look for opportunities to draw from what is already in us, and if you would, extend your other hand to our city and your city, and look for opportunities this week to share what is already in us with the people that we live and work, go to school with, looking for opportunities to repair and heal our worlds. Amen. Okay, those of you online, there's going to be a really short, what are you thinking? Because we're going to have some food here. But before we have food, there's something I needed to say here. Okay. Yeah, you all are dismissed. See ya. We're not dismissed. So here's what you heard today.